Well, we all think of the last day of October as Halloween, but you know what else it is? It's the last day of Italian Heritage Month. We're going to be talking about that on this week's episode of the State of Greater Western New York Report, which as always, is brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Centro right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard. The Linden Honeoye Falls Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history. Welcome, everyone, to this edition of the State of Greater Western New York Report. Join us each episode as we discuss fantastic topics ranging from history to science to the strange and the wonderful, as well as the treasured spirit with which our region has infused America. We challenge you to consider all things Greater Western New York, from our region's very beginnings to how it inspires, how it empowers, and why it is so admired. Here's the host of the State of Greater Western New York Report, Chris Carosa.
Hey there, welcome everybody, and welcome to today's show. It's a great day, a nice sunny day if you're watching this live outside, but we're inside and we're talking to a couple of people who are very much into Italian heritage, and we're going to let them get off to the start right now. Lianna, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the CCI?
All right. Well, thank you so much for having us. My name is Lianna Tatma. I'm the executive director of the Centro Culturale Italiano di Buffalo, which is located on the corner of Hurdle and Delaware in Buffalo. We were founded in 2010 by Dr. Francesco Giacobbe and his wife Renata, who had the goal of furthering the Italian language and culture in Western New York because they noticed that it seemed like the language wasn't being spoken as much. So we started with humble beginnings in a storefront on Hurdle Avenue, which is one of the Italian neighborhoods in Buffalo. And we were just offering language classes. Since then, we were able to grow into our own facility here on Hurdle in Delaware. It's a beautiful historic building where we offer the language classes, additional programming, which Julia will be telling you more about shortly, as well as great cafe space and exhibition space.
So, Lianna, how did you end up being, who you are in this group? What led you there?
So my background, I studied cultural anthropology, and cultural management is my master's degree. I'm actually from Florida initially and then moved back up to Buffalo after grad school and high school. So I was in grad school in Buffalo, moved back down to Florida, then moved back up because I missed it so much up here. It was a great opportunity to kind of participate in Italian culture and be a part of the heritage that makes Buffalo great.
And Julia, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at the CCI.
I am the director of programming and events, so my responsibilities are to create and design cultural programming that connects the community and people of all ages. So we provide lots of fun activities, so cooking classes, story hours for kids, lectures, art classes, everything really to do with the Italian culture.
So I have to point out that at one time I too had blonde hair when I was younger, and people didn't believe that I was Italian. And it wasn't that I was from northern Italy, at least as far as I know. So tell us a little bit about the regularly scheduled activities. We'll get into what goes on with Italian Heritage Month, or what has gone on, in a moment. But tell us more about the regularly scheduled activities that CCI does and how people can find out about it.
Absolutely. So just about every single Wednesday of the month, we have a program called Cucina Con, which means cooking with. And we have either a professional chef or a home chef who has a special recipe that they'd like to share, and they prepare it for a group of about 20 people. They offer instruction, and sometimes there's some hands-on components. And then everybody shares the meal at the end together and gets to take home the recipe. It's one of my favorite programs we do. And that can be you can find that on our website, ccibuffalo.org, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram, CCI Buffalo. And we have lots of other activities that we like to bring in the kids as well. So we do bilingual story hours pretty regularly, as well as different informational lectures about Italian topics, such as qualifying for dual citizenship, which has been very popular at CCI.
That's right. And I might just mention to our viewers that if you're looking at this week's calendar behind Julia, it says language lessons, not lasagna lessons. But I'm getting hungry because it's already lunchtime for me. But so what, Lianna, what do you think is the most popular aspect to CCI? What makes it a part, that stands out for people who come to see it?
I mean, I think a lot of it is the variety of programming that we offer, but we do also have a really phenomenal exhibition space as well, which highlights the role of Italian Americans in building Western New York, which I think a lot of people are unaware of how prevalent and how important and impactful Italian Americans have been and Italians have been in building Buffalo in particular, but all of Western New York.
So tell us now about Italian Heritage Month in terms of when did it really get its start? It's relatively new, and I know that there was a push for it a while ago, and a lot of people don't know that it is actually, I think, a real thing. Can you tell us a little about the history behind it? Go ahead, Lianna. You could do that.
Yeah. So Italian American Heritage Month is relatively new. I want to say, Julia, do you know off the top of your head when it was founded or kind of created as far as when it was?
1980s. I think it was around the 1980s where it really was established in New York State and then nationally.
Yes. And I mean, the whole purpose behind it is really to celebrate the impact of Italian Americans in building these communities, because they were a very early immigrant population coming into America. And it's also, they kind of really spread out in their impact as far as there was literally building, but then, shaping culture, restaurants, all of these things that are considered part of American culture and a great part of American culture all stemmed from this. And there was initially a lot of kind of racism and all of the horrible things that happened to immigrants now also happened then, and Italian Americans and Italians were targeted.
Is it? Do a lot of people know that there is such a thing as Italian Heritage Month? And I say that because I look at, say, the NFL when they promote different heritage months. I can't remember the name of it. The one that starts September 15th and ends October 15th.
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hispanic Heritage. Thank you. And I think that they're going to promote Native American Heritage Month beginning in November. It seems like Italian Heritage Month doesn't get the same level of PR as some of those other ones. Is that just me, or is that something you noticed too?
It is definitely something that we've noticed. I think that's partially because, we are Italian Americans that have kind of what's called favored immigrant status now. So I think that's kind of a big reason why our heritage months don't get as much airtime.
Well, you don't have to be. There are people still alive who remember when it was not the favored immigrant class. So maybe we would like to see it get at least a little bit more time. We're biased. What can I say?
Working hard on it. We're working hard on it.
Well, I know it's more of a national thing than a local thing, because I know it does get a lot of coverage locally, not only in Buffalo but also in Rochester. In Rochester, they have an Italian Heritage Day that at least one group celebrates. There's another group that I think celebrates more the entire month. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you did for this past October Italian Heritage Month. Julia, why don't you take that one?
Sure. So we had many activities and programs that we promoted and put on ourselves, which we also worked with some other organizations to promote some of their Italian American activities as well, including the Buffalo International Film Festival and the Federation of Italian American Societies of Western New York. We like to partner with our community friends and really work hard to champion the heritage. But at CCI, we filled our month with, of course, food, one of the best parts of the Italian culture. So we had many cucina cons. I think we had one every single Wednesday this month. And we also had different lectures about books. So some authors who specialize in, Italian history and certain topics spoke. We also had a kids' Halloween party, which is a little more American. However, Halloween is growing traction and popularity in Italy, so it's a little bit of cultural diffusion that way. And we really had a great time with that and enjoyed being with the kids and bringing the community together. We also had some game nights. So we play Italian cards here called Scopa. And it's a little tricky because the cards are different than what we're used to. So you have to learn a whole new set of cards and the rules of the game. So it was really great. We also participated with the 8th Judicial District Diversity Steering Committee and had the opportunity to go to their ceremonial courtroom and share some of our culture there as well.
So people can actually buy Scopa, right? That's a game that you could buy.
Yes, it's a card game.
A card game that you can buy, and it's a lot of fun. I know we play it a lot, all the time. It's a great family game. It's not that hard to learn, and Dad always wins. So, Lianna, in for this particular Italian Heritage Month, was there an event that you had that seemed to resonate more than usual this year for some reason?
So there were a couple of events that we did that it was our first time doing them, and they were very impactful. So, the partnership with the 8th Judicial Circuit Diversity Steering Committee was amazing. We got to be in the ceremonial courtroom. We talked about our exhibit, we talked about our mission. There were other volunteers that brought in some incredible cuisine. We got to play bocce. It was a fun time, and everybody learned a little bit. And then also our partnership with the Federation of Italian American Societies of Western New York for the closing ceremony was absolutely incredible. They open the month every year at their home church, St. Anthony's of Padua downtown. But we got to be the closer, and we had Peter Lugiacano, the president of the Federation here, who spoke a few words, and it was just a great night.
All right. Well, we are going to come right back after this commercial, and we'll talk more about what happened this past Italian Heritage Month, but also what's going to be happening next month. Stay tuned.
Through the mists of time, nature and man have both created and buried treasures beyond the imagination. With the ages, these riches slowly dissolve into mere myths until they are forever forgotten. But there are those brave souls who tirelessly cling to the truth, ever seeking to discover the undiscovered, to reveal what has always been there, to uncover the hidden gems of a land thought forsaken but loved by millions. "50 Hidden Gems of Greater Western New York. Discover the secrets in your own backyard." Buy your copy now at 50hiddengems.com.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to the State of Greater Western New York Report. We're talking about Italian Heritage Month today, and we actually have a couple of questions from the audience that I thought are particularly interesting, and maybe you can answer them. I don't know which one of you would be the expert on this. But the first one is the genealogy question. So people want to know how they can discover their ancestors, Italian ancestors, obviously. What sort of resources might you have, or might you direct people to that would help them do that?
So we actually offer free genealogy services for all of our members. We have an excellent genealogist, Sandy Russo, who is an absolute freaking wizard at finding those trails and that history for people. Um, we tend to focus specifically on Italian descent and Italian genealogy, but our programs and the things that she can do will also access others as well.
Do you have a database where people can discover that they're related to each other just within, say, the Buffalo area, that they might not know that they're related to each
We don't have it as something that you can kind of click on and access yourself. We have, like I said, the genealogist can kind of access it and pull together those records.
And how much is that used by people? Is that something that a lot of people do, or relatively few?
It's one of the most popular offerings of being a member. That and the language classes discount that you
And
get.
they could just call you up and arrange for an appointment or whatever it is, or should they go to the website?
They can either email us, they can call us and arrange it, and we can connect them with Sandy, like I said, who's incredible, and she'll work with them. She actually also does a lot of research prior to, so that, if you're coming in for your appointment, it's not just discovering it all right there. She's got something to show you that she's already done, and then you guys can or they work together from there
Well, that sounds
to
that sounds pretty neat.
yes.
I know a lot of people. Well, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I certainly found out that Napoleon. We could thank Napoleon for a lot of the data that we have. Napoleon and the Catholic Church both. If you go back to Italy, you can actually get the records pretty confidently going back to the Napoleonic era. At some point, Napoleon, I guess, was ruling Italy, and he ordered everybody to keep birth records. And then obviously the churches did the same thing. So it's not that hard to get the data. It's probably hard to know how to get the data. That's what we found when we did it. Julia, you talked about a dual citizenship, and we had a question on that. Can you kind of give a thumbnail view of the process that one would have to go through in order to acquire dual citizenship?
Sure. It's I do know from some individuals who are in the process of trying to achieve their dual citizenship. It is a very lengthy process, and you do have to have certain familial connections. I think, but through a father's side, it was a patriarchal society, so the father's side lineage is the strongest connection to dual citizenship. I will say, however, this is, a constantly changing sort of process. So some rules and different requirements change all the time. So we are sort of dealing with that in regard to knowing whether or not people qualify or still qualify. So we're trying to stay up to date on that information. And there's excellent Facebook groups out there that can show you your path to citizenship, and genealogy records certainly help with that too. So it's sort of a combined process.
Is there a cost usually associated with this?
It depends. You can go through an attorney, which will most definitely have a higher cost. However, you do have to access certain records, and they have to be, government official records. So those items, retrieving those and requesting those may cost money. So you're doing it yourself. It's most definitely going to be a cheaper option, but there still will be some costs incurred, retrieving these documents, and it does make the process a little bit longer to do it on your own.
And
I believe the way
do you have to work with the Italian government on this, the American government on this, both, or how do, who do you actually talk to from an official standpoint?
So I believe it's both. You have to work with the Italian consulate that's located in we have, I believe there's one in Rochester and then also in New York City. So through them, and then also contacting, different city halls, or depending on where, your birth certificate may be, or your parents' information. So there's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of people to talk to.
Are there any downsides to dual citizenship?
I believe it depends on, how you may want to use it. I'm pretty sure that if you, end up living in Italy, with a dual citizenship, you potentially would have to pay taxes in the United States and in Italy if, you're residing in Italy. So those are things, to sort of look out for. However, with a passport, an Italian passport, you're part of the EU, so you'll be able to, travel more freely, and, if you're in Europe.
And then the last question that we had was, normally, how long would it take for this process to go?
It depends. So I do know that there's, in New York State, an 8,000 person waiting list, last I heard. And I do know that it definitely is not as long of a process if you use an attorney, an immigration attorney. However, if you do it yourself, the more cost effective way, um, it does take a long time, and, waiting for certain things to be approved, and it's everything has to be right. So if there's one small error, you'll have to start right over.
Oh, wow. So that's interesting. We got those two questions. Tells you what people are interested in, at least. Let's talk about November. What's going on in November? And I'll put you both on the screen and put the calendar on the screen to do that. So, what do you have cooking for November?
November is a little bit of a quieter month for us after all of the, I think we had about 32 event, or no, I think I had 16. We had so many events in October. So November is a little quieter, but we're looking forward to our Cucina Cons and our karaoke night coming up on the 7th. Julia, if you want to talk a little bit more about some of the other events.
Absolutely. So yeah, we have lots of fun activities. Thursday, we try to call it, like a game night, so karaoke, and then we'll have our cards and cocktails, where we teach and play Scopa. Then you'll see on Saturdays we have lots of interesting lectures. So on the 9th, we're doing an international poetry reading, which is always a wonderful event. People from all backgrounds come and share poems that they've written, and the theme is gratitude in line with Thanksgiving. We have a fascinating lecture, Nikola Tesla and Marconi, about really who invented radio. So that one will be really interesting. A local author is going to talk about her debut novel, Virgin Snow, on the 23rd. And then on the 30th, we're having a sip and shop, where items in our gift shop will be on sale, and we'll have some beverages and Italian treats available as well.
And what do people need to do in order to sign up for these events?
They can go right on our website, ccibuffalo.org, and they can look at our events section. It's a whole calendar of the month, and they can pick and choose whatever they'd like to sign up for.
So if you say cci.org, you're going to be able to see.
ccibuffalo.org.
Okay, so let's pull that up right here and we can show everybody what it looks like.
Sure.
Hopefully I got it correctly here. It looks like I do. Okay, so there it is. And put that up there. This is what it looks like if you go there. ccibuffalo.org. So you can see right at the top, there's genealogy. And there's classes that you can take. That's a book. Classes and events. So they'll have to. Where would they go first to look at the calendar? And there's two events.
Yes.
Okay, so we go to events, and there we are. Look at that. You can see what's going on, and if you want to sign up, I guess you just click it there. Bingo, bango, you sign. So it's So there's a cost there you can see. Let's make this screen a little bit easier to see. There we go. And if you're a member, if there's a cost. If there's a non-member, well, that's the other thing we should mention is that you could actually become a member of CCI. And there are various forms of membership that you can get. 1 year, I think, 2 year, family, and different levels of support depending on what you want to do. If it's a student, it's free. So there's that. But I think we have the family member. But so there's a lot of good stuff here that you can look at and see. Uh, just go to ccibuffalo.org. It's good. So, is there any? We have a few minutes left. Is there anything special that you guys wanted to say that I didn't ask? There always is. So.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that, even though Italian American Heritage Month this is the last day, it's over, we celebrate Italian American heritage here at CCI year round. So, don't just take a month. Anytime you want to stop by or check out our website, see what we have to offer, we would love to have anyone come in, learn more about Italian American heritage here.
I was wondering about on the sponsorship and donations. Are you looking for anything in particular that people might be able to give? And particularly as we head into Christmas and the gift giving season, what might you be in need of? I don't know if you're working with nonprofits or things like that.
Yeah, so we work with a variety of different nonprofits. Last year we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club and did a giving tree. Right now we're looking at potentially doing that again, or we work very closely with Pernente. And so they've got families that come in that are also in need. So we might be doing something with them and kind of adopting a family and filling that kind of Christmas wish list for them as well. We're also partnering with another organization for toiletries currently for Thanksgiving, because there's a lot of issues with people coming in without proper toiletries. Shampoo, soap, basic feminine hygiene products.
And you made me think of something else, that you guys have a little shop there. So again, if we're talking about Christmas and you're looking for a unique gift, tell us a little bit about what you guys offer there, because I know that it's pretty cool.
It is. So one of our board members is actually kind of the head of our gift shop, and she does an absolutely incredible job. They go to Italy regularly, and I mean, a lot of our staff goes to Italy regularly, and our board members and volunteers, and they're always tasked with finding some unique gifts straight from Italy that's representative of the culture, that's not, too cheesy. But we have some really phenomenal ornaments that are great coming up. We have our Scopa decks, if you're interested in purchasing some Scopa decks, as well as some porcelain, ceramics, cooking accoutrement. We've got our CCI aprons and chef hats for anybody who wants to have a little cucina con in their own kitchen. Just a wide variety of things.
And Julia, since you're the head of programming, if somebody has a programming idea, how do they go about offering it or suggesting it to you?
They can email me directly at julia.hamilton@ccibuffalo.org with their idea, or info@ccibuffalo.org. Either way, I will get the information and absolutely chat about a great idea for a cultural program.
Are there any particular things that you might be more interested in getting right now that maybe you haven't done in the past but you're looking to do in the future?
Always open to any brand new ideas. I love our game nights. So if anyone has, some Italian games that they'd like to share, we're always looking for, fun activities to just bring people of all ages together. So anything like that, I'm always open ears.
All right, good. So I'm going to ask you a question that I've been trying to find the answer to in terms of Italian games. When I was a kid, so like 3 or 4 years old, my grandfather would have all the paisans over every Sunday and have a big cookout, and all the old men would be in the garage after dinner, and they'd play this game where they'd shout out numbers and do stuff with their hands. Am I making this up, or have you guys ever heard of that or seen that?
I think that's
numbers.
It's in our exhibit. I don't know off the top of my head the name of it, but I could get it for you. But it's like I think it's similar to sort of like a rock, paper, scissor game.
That's the way it looks, yeah.
Yeah.
And I never understood what the rules were or what the whole point was.
That is a real thing.
Well, yeah, I'm curious. If you're ever to get that, shoot me an email and let me know what it is, because nobody in my family could tell me. I mean, my parents, I don't think my father even played, so it was a generation above him. But all right, well, guys, thank you very much for being on today's show, and thank everybody out there in the audience for listening. Remember, if you want to be a member of the live audience, it's the only way to ask a question. What you need to do is go to stateofgreaterwesternnewyork.com, and right on that page there's a way to sign up for free, and every Thursday you'll get this super secret link that allows you to watch the show live, and that's how you can ask questions. Otherwise, and I know a lot of people work on Thursdays and all days, so it's kind of hard to watch it live, but if you want to see it, just go to the same site, stateof.greaterwesternnewyork.com, and there's the archive there. So just look it up on the archive and you'll be able to see the shows. Finally, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will be able to see this show rebroadcast every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. So that's all we have for this week, and we'll see everybody later. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye for now.